right, while ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa has released a statement regarding the ongoing exit talks with State President Jacob Zuma. And in that statement, Ramaphosa said the talks have been constructive. And joining us now in studio is our acting political editor, Ms. Sophie Mokoena, to give us more deliberations on this. A very good afternoon to you, Sophie.
Afternoon, Alicia.
Look, Sophie, ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa has just released a statement to clarify what is currently happening with regards to talks with President Jacob Zuma on his exit. And he says it's a challenging time for the country. But what do you make of this?
Well, indeed, the ANC is clear in this statement, particularly the leader, Cyril Ramaphosa, that the country is facing a challenging time. He is correct, or the ANC is correct. You can't have a situation where you postpone the state of the nation. It is the first time in the history of the country. Secondly, when people had hoped that there will be talks, and perhaps today in the evening, the NEC will find a solution, and the meeting again is put on hold. But what we have learned is that last night or yesterday, the ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa and President Jacob Zuma did have that meeting, and they discussed the issue of transition, transition exit. And we are told that among those who were there, the only person, actually, it was the Secretary General of the ANC, Ace Magashule. He was part of the meeting when it started. He left, and he let them discuss, the two of them. And then later he joined the meeting again. So it looks like the Secretary General of the ANC, that's my view and my speculation, is trying to intervene. It will be easy because you know that Ace Magashule has got a very cordial relationship with President Jacob Zuma. Yeah. If there's one person who President Zuma can listen to among many people that are his friends or very close to President Jacob Zuma, is Ace Magashule himself. So much as he's got his own baggages, but I think he is the man, and in the position that he is currently holding as the Secretary General, he's the engine. He must ensure that there's a proper ANC, a credible ANC, an effective ANC, an ANC at all levels, party, where they've deployed their deployees in state, in government. Therefore, he has got the responsibility as the Secretary General of the ANC to ensure that there's synergy between President Zuma, the head of state, and President Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of the ANC.
Look, Sophie, with those talks, I mean, we've heard the word of immunity being brought about and thrown about as to some of the actual negotiations pertaining these talks. Have you heard anything about that has been put in motion to say, okay, fine, if the president resigns, these are the grounds, and immunity being one of them?
Not at all. We haven't had any information in terms of perhaps what President Zuma wants. But you must remember, South Africa is a constitutional democracy. There's a rule of law. There's no way the ANC, or Ramaphosa in particular, as the president of the ANC, can make commitments in terms of issues that are before the court of law. That it's not negotiable. True, you have a very, very vibrant opposition right now. Civil NGOs and civil society. There is no way you can get away with that. Yes, in Zimbabwe it did happen. It will never happen in South Africa. They will have to find a clean, credible way of dealing with whatever, if President Zuma has made any demands.
Sophie, there's also another notion that a lot of people have been saying, those that are well studied in South African politics are saying, well, President Jacob Zuma is the most senior member of the current ruling structure within the ANC, and therefore maybe he's using those tactics to say, well, I'm the senior and I will dictate to you guys how things must govern. What do you have to say about that?
There's no seniority right now. President Mandela, the late President Mandela, the former ANC president, was very, very senior, an internationalist. but he didn't abuse that credibility and that stature in ensuring that perhaps he gets what he wants. The same with Mbeki. There is no way President Zuma can do that. Yes, he is a senior, seasoned politician from Robben Island, in exile. He worked with Ramaphosa as the Deputy Secretary General of Ramaphosa. If we were to judge him on who's senior, some may argue that after 1991, Ramaphosa is the most senior person because he was the Secretary General of this organization. And he continued to be a member of the National Executive Committee, even under Mbeki as presidency of the ANC and the first term of President Jacob Zuma, he was in the NEC. So he is also a very senior, seasoned ANC politician. He led the talks, and President Zuma was on his side. You can see all those visuals at the World Trade Center. It's President Mandela, and then Ramaphosa, and then you have President Zuma at the back, you have Thabo Mbeki, and then you have Joe Slovo. When you look at the pictures of the ANC, you must see these former ANC presidents and the current president have been there all the way.
Absolutely.
Therefore, I don't think he can use that seniority. Many are also senior.
All right. Look, Sophie, let's talk about the fact that this issue has drawn wide international interest. Why do you think this is?
Well, South Africa is a big economy on the continent and around the world. Lots of investment in this country. And people want to know what's happening in this country right now in terms of the transition. If I were to make example, I'm undated with calls from African broadcasters. Whatever we broadcast, they want a piece of it because they just want information. Some are even calling, asking our journalists, SABC journalists, to avail themselves for interviews and Q&As because they believe that we have better information and they've been following our reports. There's huge, huge interest.
Let's talk about that when it comes to information. We've seen, of course, some of the fake news that have gone out and being purported as the actual stories. How careful must the public be at such a critical time, Sophie, when taking the knowledge that is out there or the stories that have been put forth in media?
Yes, indeed. We live in an age where you have social media. And at times, social media is used to influence direction, particularly when there's contestation of ideas or influence. Therefore, you'll continuously get this misinformation because everybody wants to influence a political journalist or a political editor. It is for that reason, whether it's a media release, you have to call and verify whether this is authentic. When we received this statement, we knew, we heard earlier on that the ANC president was going to release this statement. But when we got it, we took a clear, conscious decision as SABC to say, oh, let's call the presidency to verify whether it's authentic. And they said, yes, but not from government side, from the ANC side. It is for that reason we are able to run the story. But it is going to be very, very difficult. And at times, we are human beings, we will err. And particularly in terms of ensuring that you get that information first. It is for that reason, at times getting information first can lead to a crisis, but we will try our level best to ensure that this story, we tell the story in a proper context, in a fair, balanced manner, but credible stories. It is for that reason we continuously invite those who are involved in these stories to come and speak, because it's better to have a person you can attribute the story to. We've done it. When Mbeki was recalled, we didn't have a problem in terms of handling that big story. And I guess even this time around, South African journalists in total, they will be able to handle this big story.
Sophie, we thank you so much for your input right here. That is our acting political as well as foreign editor, Sophie Mokoena, talking to us about the latest developments within the ruling party.